Welcome back to the Takeout. As we mentioned, President Trump will be joined in one capacity or another by 16 top U.S. business executives while he is in China. Among the notable names, Elon Musk, Tesla and other companies, Larry Fink of BlackRock, Tim Cook of Apple. CBS News contributor, that's really good news, by the way, contributor, Patrick McGee joins me now. He is the author of a book I highly recommend, Apple in China, the capture of the world's greatest company. Patrick, it's great to have you on the program. I appreciate your time. Talk to my audience about this role of the business executives and Trump going to China, and quite separate from the war in Iran, some of the other economic factors at stake.
Well, you're right to mention the war in Iran. I mean, that's essentially what we don't want the summit to be about. You don't want this to be the Cold War summit. I mean, you don't want Taiwan to come up very much as Beijing wants that to happen. So by sort of stacking the guest list, if you will, with a bunch of corporate executives, I think Washington is properly signaling that this is all about, trade, investments, guaranteed investments from China towards soybeans and things like that. The more that they can gear the discussion towards things like that rather than Cold War issues, the better.
What is the takeaway from your book? I've read it, but my audience hasn't, about Apple and China and what was gained by Apple and its stockholders, but what was lost for America long term?
American capitalism is very much shareholder-first capitalism. And so clearly Apple has gotten a lot out of this relationship. I mean, it's a $4 trillion company with more than $100 billion just in profits. But we don't have, as a nation, all that much capability in terms of building something like the iPhone or any number of other things. I mean, it's really tough to find electronics that are mass made in America. And so the book is really very much about Apple training a rival nation, an adversarial nation, to do all those things. And so we've, in a sense, traded our profits for capabilities. So we no longer know how to really do this stuff, and China knows how to do it in spades. And they're creating an industrial juggernaut, or have created an industrial juggernaut. And it's only getting bigger. And I'm glad that you mentioned it, just because, it matters when the president of the United States goes to China and is aware of just how many choke points China controls in the economy, whether that's rare earths or lithium-ion batteries or solar panels, and increasingly things like battery supply chains and electric vehicles. That's really concerning. And the way they got there is essentially that they lured in foreign capital, they lured in foreign expertise, and Apple was just the biggest, baddest company to sort of go and do it and train up literally millions of people.
Patrick, about big topics, and this certainly is one, lots of people have different opinions, and I want to give you a chance to respond to Andy Kessler, who wrote in the Wall Street Journal recently about your op-ed that Tim Cook has been harmful to American interests. Andy writes, a recent New York Times op-ed headline reads, Tim Cook was great for Apple investors. He was not as great for America. The piece goes on to suggest Apple enabled China's Xi Jinping as our adversary. This is so wrong, it borders on satire. His point is that not just its stockholders, but lots of America, the Chinese middle class, and lots of other things that accrue to America's net benefit happened as a result of this relationship.
Well, the only thing he quoted there was the headline, and that's the only part of the piece I didn't write. So it'd be nice if I had more of a head-on criticism, if he actually could engage with my arguments or give some sense that he actually read the book. I thought it was a pretty weak piece, and I'm disappointed he didn't name check me. That would have been nice. Look, my point is not that Tim Cook's legacy is bad. My point is that it's unwritten and that a journalist properly needs to talk about the trade-offs. Clearly, this has been a great relationship for Apple, and it's been a great relationship for China. I'm just pointing out that a lot of Americans don't have jobs. A lot of capacities for manufacturing have been given away. It's not so much that we even lost, so much as we actually enabled a great competitor. So, I want someone to grapple with my actual argument, which is that Apple played a nation-building-like effort in China by investing literally over the years hundreds of billions of dollars and training up millions of people. I mean, if you're only dealing with the headline written by somebody else, you're not really grappling with the seriousness of the argument.
Patrick McGee, I'm glad you're a contributor. One of many conversations I hope to have in the book, Apple in China, the capture of the world's greatest company. Excellent work. I appreciate it very much. Thank you.